guys! I wasn't planning on doing this video today. I was actually planning to do a weekly pull list. One of the things that was going to be on that weekly pull list was Volume 3 of Rat Queens, and I read that this morning, and I have some things I want to talk about, so instead of doing that pull list, I'll do that next week. I'm going to be doing a review of this. I also want to say before I get started that something has come up for Gretchen. Her roommate is having a concert tonight, so she won't be able to do the live stream. Don't worry guys, we're just postponing that a little bit. It will happen. She has to go to this thing, which is fine. It's completely understandable. We'll just have to reschedule, which is fine. Don't worry about it. It's gonna happen. So instead, you're getting me, and I'm gonna be talking about comics. Now when it comes to Rat Queens, this was my second favorite comic of last year. If you saw my wrap-up of which comics I enjoyed, this volume, the second volume, was actually my second favorite comic running of the whole year, and I was super excited when I saw that the third volume was coming out. I picked it up this week. It's the first thing that I read in the group of things that I picked up this week, and I was super disappointed. I'm going to put the comic down because I know that when I hold it up my camera likes to autofocus because I tend to wave it a lot, so I'm going to put this down. Now the thing I love so much about this comic is the characters. I love them so much. They are all so unique, and honestly they feel like personal characters that you would find in a group of people who really love each other and play D&D. You have all of these characters with their own backgrounds, their own stories. They work together towards a common goal. They all have this internal fight that they're going through in their own lives. They all have these things that they worry about, these things that make them unique. And on top of that, when it comes to their design, all of these characters have very different body types, very different hairstyles, all of these things that make them very forward-thinking in a way. They aren't stereotypes by any means in any way, and that was one of the things that really drew me to this comic in the beginning. Now, I still am going to keep reading this comic, even though I had issues with this particular volume, and I think the reason that was because this one felt a little bit all over the place. There were all of these half starts, like they were going to start talking about something and they didn't really tie it back in a way in the volume. It might be that in future issues it will be talking about those things and getting back to it. It was a little bit confusing in tone, and characters seemed to be doing things I wasn't expecting. Some of that was sort of explained, but other than that, I was left wanting in a way. On top of that, this poor comic has had 3 artists so far, and the artist that has currently been working on it is going to stop after issue number 16, so we're going on to artist number 4. That's so many different artists to have in such a short time. I think it's only been running 2 years. The original artist of this comic, Rock Upchurch, was arrested on domestic abuse, and after that he was fired. He wasn't going to be doing the art anymore. For the interim, they picked up Steven Sejic, who is a popular sort of online indie artist. He has done some work that has been published, but he wasn't very big and known until then. It was mostly his fan art that got the company to pull him in just to finish the arc when Upchurch got arrested. So he finished this section. And then they hired Tess Fowler, who did this one, and she's stopping after number 16, so there will be a new artist on the next volume. All of this means that the art style has been shifting and changing slightly throughout this comic's history, and that can really affect the tone and the mood of a comic. You don't realize how much the art really does affect these characters and what's going on, and while the designs are still the same, those little bits of difference in the way that they do details and the way that they shape their faces really does affect sort of how you feel when you're reading this comic. Do I think that the art changing all of this time has really put me off of the comic? No, not at all. But it is noticeable, and it is a little bit jarring to be reading this ongoing series and have the art changing constantly. Hopefully they can find an artist that they'll stick with so that that doesn't happen again, but what can you do? They are going to be taking a bit of a hiatus, and Curtis J. Weeb, the writer, said that he is completely willing to keep doing this comic. He wants to keep doing it, and I'm still excited for it. Just because I was disappointed with this one comic because of some issues in the writing and the way it was produced, I don't want to completely cut this comic off. I do still care about all of these characters and their stories. I care about the new things we're learning about some of the characters. I care about the continuation of some of the stories that we've had and how that's affecting them. I think it's really important to have a group of female characters that are awesome, sexually liberated, different body types working together with their own stories. They aren't just stereotypes or mirrors of each other. They all are very individual and they all complement each other. If you haven't picked up Rat Queens, I know a lot of people have heard about it and have been enjoying it. I do still recommend that you pick it up because it has so many things going for it. Just because this one volume wasn't the best it could be doesn't mean that the comic itself isn't still worth it. That's all I have for you guys today. Sorry about the live stream being canceled. Again, I'm putting out this comic video for you as a sort of replacement for that. We will have that live stream, it just might be rescheduled a little bit, either later this week or next week. Whatever we're able to do, we're still going to try and get it done. Again, that's all I have for you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hope you're having a good day. Bye!